How do you do? So I'm doing a series of videos regarding how to use MIDI effects and specifically third-party MIDI effects when creating music and as a part of your workflow to get some ideas or support to music theory. So in previous I have done a video already on a Logic Pro, Luna, Ableton Live, Pro Tools and Cubase. And in this video I will actually dive into Studio One, so let's get going. Okay, so I have done already a bit of a preparation, so I have created two instrument tracks, one for synth that represents synth pad, and another one for a bass where I'm using Moog. So those I have done, and in Studio One you have pretty much the similar thing as in Cubase, that they provide these note effects, but you can only use the built-in note effects, and you can't kind of utilize here the external ones. In order to use the external ones, you actually need to bring and create them as a new track, like in Cubase. So I can bring that in here, and then I could say basically that this is my harmony idea. This is my harmony idea, and then I can start creating here, things. Now it is using its own internal sound for that, and I hear it. I hear the response from the built-in instruments. But then if I would like to use an external, I need to go into here in this plugin and say that instead of like using internal, do mute it and send it out. And then if I go into another area where I need to change and do change is here. From here I need to actually go and here you have the section for MIDI input. So instead of using that, you actually say that it comes from a Captain Chord Epic. And now if I go and play that, I will start to basically then get MIDI input from the pad itself. It's actually funny that all right, so now I'm getting that in here routed correctly, so you need to select it from here. Then if I would like to bring a bass line, I can do that as well. So I do a Captain beat, and then I can go here and say that this is my bass idea. And the nice thing with the Captain Chord plugins is that when you do your chords and you bring in the bass line, it automatically adapts to that. So it guides you with the music theory if you are in a bit kind of puzzled with that or new. So it helps you to keep your focus on creating music and not thinking that much music theory, specifically if you are new into that. And of course you can here also change different type of patterns, and you can also go and make it one octave higher or lower, whatever you want to do. So these are quite nice to help you to ideate. And then let's go here and say that okay, bass goes also to output, and then let's go and arm this both and now kind of play. Hey, wait a sec, I didn't I didn't actually select the input from here. So now we are, so that's the thing with this, where you need to kind of you have them in a different track and you need to do the routing. It's not so straightforward as it is in a Pro Tools or Logic Pro or Luna, where you can actually put the MIDI effects in the same track where you have your instrument. And in Pro Tools, Ableton and Cubase, you actually need to do this routing, which is not, I would say, not that convenient. But anyway, once you do them, then you can basically realize the ideas in your Studio One project. So this is how you do the routing in Studio One. So let's do a quick recap on it. So So first of all, you need to bring in it as an instrument. Secondly, within the instrument, like in this case, and they all differ a bit, how they send MIDI out and how they work. So you need to check them out. But here you basically don't use the plugin audio, but you are VST outputting it and sending it out and muting the instrument within. And that's the part that you need to do in here. And then where you want to use it, then you need to go into that track and make sure that the MIDI input is actually then coming from the right plugin in this case. And then once you've done that and you play, then you are getting the sounds that you want. So that's basically how it works and in Studio One. So that was Studio One and how to use MIDI effects and specifically external MIDI effects with Studio One, as its own MIDI effects are quite limited. So how to use it in this case. I have done previous videos, as I mentioned, on Logic Pro, Ableton, Pro Tools, Luna, Cubase. So check them out in this same topic if those are the DAWs that you are working with. Specifically, this focused on Studio One and how to use the MIDI effects in Studio One. Hopefully, as a Studio One user, you liked the video, liked the tip, how to get some ideas going with this type of tools and support your workflow when creating music. Remember to subscribe for the channel for more content. Next, I will dive into Reason 13, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye now.